DayBreak, Chapter 10, Scarred.
Time of death, approximately 8:30.
The first responder covered Snipe Hunt's head with a blanket. The fallen guard was lifted into the back of an ambulance and carted away. Carrot watched it go, biting down on her lip. She turned to Skyhook and placed a hoof on her shoulder.
I'm sorry.
Me too. The Bat Pony guard turned his face away from the wagon and towards the construction site. He squinted in the foggy light of the rising sun. We always work together. I wish I'd been here. She gave his shoulder a squeeze, and then she flagged down a passing corporal.
So, what'd you guys find?
The soldier saluted. Nothing much, ma'am. A few blood samples that forensics confirm as belonging to Princess Sparkle, Chief Velvet, and an unidentified third pony. We also have the attacker's wing blades, 6 embedded in the carriage, and 25 scattered across the general area. Some of them are undamaged, but 9 of them are crumpled like tinfoil.
That'll be Twilight's handiwork then.
Care scuffed a hoof in the sand.
Any clues where the assassin went?
Skyhook grunted. A furrow through the sand leading to the exit, and looked like she dragged herself away, but the sand trail ends at the end of the street.
That's slippery, little.
Care cut herself off with a snort.
Anything else to report, Corporal?
No, ma'am.
As you were.
She exited the construction site and leaned against the fence. She then rubbed a hoof over her face.
Always 2 steps behind.
An unfortunate circumstance, Captain. Care jumped back. Wind blew in her face as giant wings carried Andy and Ursagriff and his 2 blitz wings down. He raised his head to look over the border of the site. I would appreciate it if you allowed my griffins to scour the area for evidence. I feel that my assistance in this matter would be prudent.
Sorry, Your Grace, but this is an internal pony affair.
Care shook her head.
I can't let you go in there.
Internal? Andy snapped his beak shut. Captain, this is no more than an internal affair than if the world was splitting in half, right through Equestria. You lost that claim when the person who controls the sun fell to a spear point.
I admit that you do have a point, but I can't let you in there.
Care stood at attention.
Princess Luna's orders.
Oh, Princess Luna. Andy gave her a scowling smile. Princess Luna indeed. Perhaps we need to have another heart-to-heart.
Don't let me keep you.
Care sighed. She bowed before setting off at a trot for the hospital. Andy narrowed his gaze before turning away. He sucked in a small breath when his eagle-keen eyes caught the glint of metal on the far side of the street. He lumbered to it and grabbed it between his talons. It was one of the wing blades. He ground his beak as he turned it around, examining it from every angle. The blade had dulled when it impacted the building, but it was still razor sharp. The comb at the end would fit neatly onto any feather that he wished, and it didn't dent until he used all of his might to pierce it. He held it into the light of a street lamp and watched his reflection change. The surface of the blade was covered with river-like veins, all drawing towards the tip. His eyes widened. Grenadier Lannick, give me a volley gun. The blitzwing extended his modified spear, and Ian took it in a strong talon and examined the bayonet on the end. It, too, had veins running down the side. Woats. Andian returned the volley gun. Woats! Gavash!
Is something wrong, Your Grace?
The Grenadier asked. Take this back to Thunderhead and give it a full analysis, Andian murmured. Whoever this assassin is, she's using Griffin alloys. Princess Twilight Sparkle lay silent on a hospital bed, a tube shoved down her throat and a bag of ambrosia flowing into her bloodstream. Her pulse was steady, but her brainwaves were erratic. She went a long time without oxygen to the brain, Dr. Fine said. We won't know if she suffered permanent damage until we can set her up for a magical resonance imaging test.
Thank you for your help, Doctor.
Twilight Velvet said with a hoarse voice. Hefty Fine nodded. He looked at the other ponies in the room. I'll leave you alone for a few minutes. Applejack, Rarity, Daring, Nightlight, and Velvet sat beside the bed. All eyes were on their princess, daughter, and friend. The skin around Twilight's eyes tightened as she whined. One wing twitched as she dreamed.
I'm gonna track down the spawn of a witch who did this.
Daring Do said.
You have my word, Twilight.
Twilight Velvet shut her eyes tight and leaned on her husband. The door opened, causing every pony to jump. Princess Luna walked in. A breath caught in her throat, and she fought to speak.
Rarity, Applejack, you should go to Ponyville. It isn't safe here. And you, Chief Velvet, Nightlight, you two should go with them.
Nightlight looked up.
We aren't leaving our daughter. We are moving Celestia and Twilight both to a safe haven, hidden away where none but a few know.
Luna kept her face stony.
No more risks, and no more leaks. We are keeping this tight to the chest. We were far too loose as to the news of your travels.
Velvet ground her teeth.
There was no way to know that she would just go after... No, there was not.
Luna sighed.
Still, the fewer ponies who know, the less chance that this mole will find more information to leak. I'm very sorry. I think we deserve to know.
Applejack said.
You know we ain't gonna blab none. I said that we were keeping this tight to the chest.
Luna frowned down at the mayor, her lips twitching.
No margin for error, Applejack. Well, if not me, then at least her folks.
Applejack's shoulders drooped alongside of her ears.
Don't you at least owe them that?
Luna's wall broke. Her face softened for a brief quiet moment.
Of course I do, of course.
Her eyes ran over the various instruments keeping Twilight alive.
Will the rest of you leave the room, please?
Darren gave Velvet one last hug before following the other two out the door. Velvet wiped away her tears and settled herself into a more comfortable position on the floor.
Where? The Crystal Empire.
Luna said.
It is far from Equestria and protected by an incredibly ancient magic. As long as the Crystal Heart beats strong, nothing can penetrate its borders. A breezy doctor named Summerwind has agreed to take over from Dr. Fine. He has experience with the intricacies of ambrosia.
Nightlight gazed at his daughter.
How are you planning on transporting them?
Airship flanked by weather ponies. A train would be too rough, as would a carriage, but a journey through the sky with perfect weather would be the fastest, safest way to go.
Twilight Velvet shook her head.
Pursued by a pony that you've called Hurricane? Princess, all due respect, but that sounds insane. That I will admit.
Luna said.
But it is not going to be alone. There will be two.
She was interrupted by Applejack sticking her head through the doorway.
Beg pardon, Majesty, but we need your help out here.
Luna shut her eyes hard. She growled before grasping the door with a spell.
Rest assured, Twilight Velvet and Nightlight, that I am done taking risks with my friends' lives. If this hurricane wants my sister and Twilight, she will have to scour the world first.
Luna strutted to the hospital wing's front desk, where Rarity and Applejack were waiting. Daring Do was long gone. The princess scowled at the mayor behind the counter.
What requires my attention, so?
Flower Wishes ducked behind a notepad.
We've tried to get him to leave, but he won't.
Luna took a steadying breath.
Get who to leave?
A clatter rolled down the hallway. A unicorn stallion charged past orderlies, a frazzled main unicorn mare in his wake.
Where is she?
He said.
I demand to see her at once!
Rarity gently brought a hoof to her temple and rubbed it.
Oh, who might you think?
Prince Blueblood slapped a hoof onto the counter. His eyes were red to go with his sunken cheeks.
What room? Tell me what room! Oh, Blueblood, you drunken oaf!
Fleur-de-Lis said through a thicker, fancy accent than usual.
She is resting! Leave these ponies be!
Rarity slid her hooves around Floor's shoulders.
Best to leave it to Luna, I'm afraid. Get it through your thick skull, your highness!
Applejack said. She then prodded Blueblood's chest.
You can't see Celestia! None of us can! It ain't healthy nor safe. Oh, hooves off, commoner!
Blueblood snatched the notepad from Flower Wish's grasp. He took off down the hallway with pages flapping loose in his wake.
Blueblood!
Luna chased after him, her eyes flashing with anger.
Blueblood, you get back here right this minute! Don't you dare! Ha-ha!
Blueblood skidded to a halt before one door. He dropped the pad and swung the door open.
Aunt Celestia, I came to...
He stared at the life support systems, the steadily beeping pulse monitor, the waving lines of the brain scanner, and the tube connected to his aunt's mouth.
Oh, Creator.
He leaned against the doorframe and slowly slid to the floor. Every last tinge of haughtiness left his eyes, replaced instead by unshed tears. His breath became shallow and labored.
Oh, Creator. It's just as bad as they say.
Luna stood behind him, and she made sure not to look into the room herself.
As bad as who says? Oh, Creator. Just as bad as who says, Blueblood.
Luna snapped.
It's a news broadcast, Your Majesty.
Fleur just barely managed to get her words to flow as she, too, looked into the room.
They are all over the radio waves. Word got about Twilight and Celestia, and the ponies are panicking. They are ready to riot.
Blueblood then let out a low, repressed cry. Fleur sat beside him and nestled her chin on his shoulder. Luna scraped a hoof along the floor and left a deep scratch behind.
Who told them?
Light from the windows fell away as shadows drew together from every corner, converging on Princess Luna. The temperature dropped down at least 10 degrees, sending a chill through every pony present.
Who spoke of my sister's condition?
She hissed.
Who would dare? What did they say? Princess Luna!
Applejack said.
You need to get outside the hospital if you're gonna be doing shadowy stuff like that. It ain't good for Celestia or Silence, Lord Mayor!
Luna spread her wings over Applejack, blotting out the light.
If the news outlets are spreading lies, then there shall be repercussions. If they have been sharing information deemed secret for the protection of a life, there shall be greater repercussions. And all shall pale in comparison to that which I shall visit upon the pony responsible.
There was no flash of teleport. The shadows seemed to swallow Luna up in a black hole, leaving nothing but a slight chill in the air and the rumble of distant thunder. Applejack gulped.
I think we ought to go after her.
Rarity nodded.
She'll no doubt head for the largest news network in the area. I'll lead the way.
They left together, followed by a few royal guards. Blue Blood stared at his aunt for a long time. He barely registered his wife's murmured reassurances. His head buzzed from the pressure of his sobs.
Auntie, you were supposed to be invincible.
I'm trying to figure out where exactly they would bring him to. I don't know if they're going to bring him to a bunker or just some abandoned facility of some sort. I have no idea. Anyways, let's get on to our fearless donators. Top donators: TacoCat598, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, Ponyman, and Gauntlet. Zar630, Strix, Raiden, Black Moonheart, Drake Lovedragon, Dospo, Delta Omega, Jack Hadge, RuneScythe9852, Hunter Norman, Dash of Evergreen, Riney Dragonwolf, Secret Moon, Tal Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brethren Mordred, Ron and Wandering, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Jack Hadge, Sky Uchiha, Leslie Prickett, Jordan Peterson, Crimson Kitsune 9, Lightskin, Monster Kitty, Madman Stan, Tim Bob, Starlight Glimmer, Lightning Blitz, Squiddy Boy, David D. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Jupiter C, Alex F, Rainbow Dash, Teal K. Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Rakau, Mr. ECU, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, Nissa Rusan, Vazuri, Dyslexic Character Sheets, Just a Random Boy, Hodrick Plinkart, A Crazy Person, Ponyman365, Neapolitan, 6 of 9, Shyfire, Stamp, and Dion Basseri. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.